Well, here we are again. We talked about Holy Cross Junior School last time and my grandma. This time I want to talk about sort of religion in Holy Cross Junior School. Well, I said before that my grandma gave me £half for my birthday once, and it was fantastic to get that amount of money. But I went into school and we were in the season of Lent, and every day we had a collection for either the waifs and strays, whoever they were, sounds like a dog running up and down, or the little black babies. You wouldn't say that now, but that's how they said it in school in those days. Anyway, in our class we had 4 rows, maybe there was 30 or 40 or so, about 10 a row, and each row collected their own money for Lent, and we had different names. One was, I think it was Thomas Moore, the martyr. One was Fisher. What was his first name? I can't remember. Then there was St Albans, and then there was another one. And we came in with threepenny bits and pennies. You'd hardly get sixpence, and then maybe even farthings. I think they had farthings in those days. And then we'd each come up, and they'd have a tin at the end of the row, and then you'd put your money in the tin for your team. And they all competed against each other for Lent. At the end of Lent, they'd see who won the most. Anyway, one day I got me £half, like I said, and all the lads knew I had the £half, and they were collecting. And I think somebody got up to 1 3pence, one of the teams, and we were a bit behind. Maybe we had 9pence, 8penny. But they were all looking at me, because they knew we could win. And they kept kicking me desk, and they said, go on, go on. And I think the teacher knew I had £half, because she said, if Tony wants to give his money, he will give his money. It's up to him. Of course, that made it worse, because everybody knew, and they all wanted to win. So I squeezed me £half for the last time, and I went up, and I felt great. And they all gave me a big cheer, because they knew nobody ever catches up before the end of Lent. And anyway, I gave it in, and I was the hero. They were all cheering, and I was the best friend of everybody in the playground from then on. But somehow my grandma heard about it, and she was mad. By golly, she was mad. And she came up. Now, she'd never hit you, but she said in very simple words, what do you do that for, you daft bugger? That was for you. Of course, I felt ashamed and upset, because I loved my grandma, and she was great. So I felt really bad after that for a long time, even though I'd saved all the black babies and the waifs and strays. But anyway, something's happening here. Anyway, later on, my grandma gave me 6pence, and I felt so guilty that I said, no, grandma, it's okay, it's okay. And then she got annoyed again, because she didn't like that, and she said, go on, take it. And I tell you something, Tony, never refuse anything but blows. And you know, that's always stuck with me, and from then on I never refused anything. If people want to give me something, that's fine. And you want to see my garage now, it's full of the most piles of rubbish you can ever imagine. And it's all because my grandmother, who I love very much, said, never refuse anything but blows. And you know, she was right. See you next time when we'll talk about the playground and the rhymes and the canteen up there in Holy Cross Junior School. Long, long time ago. Bye.